Hi, everybody. This is Saad. I've been fortunate enough to appear on Joe Rogan's show 10 times. The last time was this past May. We had an incredible conversation. We always do. It was, I think, over maybe 3.5 hours long. And actually, during the same trip, I ended up visiting with Elon Musk, spent also nearly 4 hours at his house having a wonderful conversation. So it's really incredible the types of connections that I've been able to have through my public engagement. The reason for my clip today is that I found out recently, as many of you have, that Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are thinking of appearing on Joe Rogan's podcast. And so here are my thoughts about those prospects from the perspective of someone who has been 10 times on the show. Many times people ask me, do you get nervous before you go on Joe Rogan? Because, I think it's the number one show in the world, millions and millions of viewers and listeners. And I often will retort that actually what makes me most nervous about going on Joe Rogan, the only thing that makes me nervous about going on Joe Rogan, is whether I will need to go to the bathroom during the chats, because the chats are, as I said, all roughly around 3 hours long. And what if you have the urge? And I remember Joe telling me once, oh, if you ever have the urge, just get up and go to the bathroom, which I luckily have never had to do. But what I can tell you from having had many conversations with Joe is that it's completely unscripted. So if you just go and look at our last conversation from I think it was last May, we were all over the place. We were talking about the bowerbird. I was discussing how the bowerbird builds a bower as a strategy to try to entice the female bowerbirds to choose it as a mate. We talked about dolphin sex. We discussed the Middle East crisis. We were all over the place. And so what makes for great conversations on Joe Rogan's podcast is that because it is unscripted, it's completely organic, right? He doesn't, I don't send him any topics that I'd like to discuss. He doesn't tell me these are the things we're going to discuss. He it's 3, 2, 1, cameras on, and we're off and running. Now try to imagine someone like Donald Trump. Now he may not be able to talk about bowerbirds and dolphin sex and maybe the Middle East crisis he certainly can talk about. But he is a raconteur, as we say in French. He's a storyteller. He's someone who can converse on all sorts of topics. And one of the things that I actually thought was really good that he did was when he had his X Spaces with Elon Musk. You got to see a different side of Donald Trump, and when he went on Greg Gutfeld, in that he wasn't sucking up all of the air, all of the oxygen in the room, because the dynamics of a show like Greg Gutfeld is that it's a conversation. And so I think Donald Trump, in my view, would do well on Joe Rogan's show. On the other hand, Kamala, who's not the greatest conversationalist, who probably doesn't have enough things in her brains to be able to carry a conversation, never mind for 3 hours, for 3 minutes. I would hope that Joe would ensure that it's not all scripted, right? That you just get on and it's free flowing. And I have a very, very hard time seeing how, in the context of the naturally organic, flow of the conversation with Joe, how she'd be able to pull it off. So my prediction would be that Donald Trump would do well on that platform. Kamala Harris not so much. But let's see. Maybe when it's completely natural, she's able to be a bit more authentic. Who knows? But I'm not holding out high hopes for that one. So there you have it, folks. Let's see what happens. Make sure that you get out there and vote. And also, most importantly, make sure that when you're making a decision that is as consequential as who's going to be the leader of the free world, you activate your cognitive system and not your affective system. Take care, everybody. Cheers.